Every day, more and more road users are filming their journeys, which can often end in disaster. Pioneered by motorists in Russia and Eastern Europe, dashboard-mounted cameras are constantly recording our behavior on the roads. From the bizarre, to the ridiculous, the funny, to the downright dangerous. The thousands and thousands of dash cams around the world have captured just about every mishap you can think of. Now we're going to delve into this treasure trove of stupidity on the roads. Put things right by pointing the finger of blame. Replay the action to see what really happened. And of course, there's nothing like seeing other people's mistakes when it comes to helping us become better drivers. And please remember, on all the clips, yes, that's all the clips we show, no one, and that means no one, is seriously hurt. So drive safely. Not everyone is this lucky. Coming up on this episode of Car Crash TV, more despicable and dastardly driving from all around the world that, had it happened in Britain, would have been seriously at odds with the guidance laid out in our commendable highway code. Article 8. At a junction, when crossing the road, look out for traffic turning into the road, especially from behind you. Article 203. You must not reverse your vehicle further than necessary. The one about it being advisable to keep all four of your wheels firmly on the road. And from Ramble On, my guide to rambling, remember the footpath is for feet only, so you have right of way. A health and safety expert such as myself has to set an example on the roads. My hands must always be at 10 to 2 on the steering wheel, my lane discipline must be impeccable, and my velocity always regulated in accordance with the limits put in place by the authorities. Were these biblical times in which we were living, I would probably be declared a saint, whereas this next batch of heathens, they would call Satan's very own speeders. And we kick things off with a Yorkshire Parking News special report. Over to Jeff.
Thanks, lad. Now, look at this ruddy idiot, parking like a barn pot on the streets of Ebden Bridge. Sound the alarm. Now, that's what I call a rapid response, putting that southerner firmly in his place. And you can turn your hazards off too. You were asking for that. Your brain's addled, lad. Jeff Bird, signing off.
There are occasions when it's sometimes okay to allow your foot to press a little harder on the accelerator. For example, when entering a main road from a slip road, it's important to regulate your speed in line with those already in situ. That way, you can position your moving vehicle to match the pace of the contraflow. Obviously, it's not an exact science. Ideally, you want to keep your vehicle facing forwards. That looked a bit nasty. Blink if you're okay. Phew, thanks. That's a relief. Holy is that the second coming of our Lord Jesus Christ? Nope, just a guy on a bike. Still, best to check. Apologies if I caused any undue panic. The process of gentrification has recently been adopted in certain areas of Poland, which is causing confusion amongst the locals. Yes, this might look like an industrial estate, but it is in fact a development of luxury €1,000,000 apartments. No wonder it sent this guy off kilter. He was just looking to buy some tiles. I blame Brexit. Seems to be the done thing these days. Now, I don't want to be a killjoy, I really don't. However, I do think this guy's speed might be a touch excessive considering the thick covering of snow. Let's find out if I'm right. And that, folks, is why they should pay me the big bucks. Shut it, Neil! It's more than you get paid for being my assistant. What a majestic sunset. It almost makes you want to pull over and take a moment to soak it up. Like this guy. Though maybe you should have pulled over on your side of the road? Not to worry, I'm sure nobody will be inconvenienced. And that, folks, is why they don't pay me the big bucks. In making this program, we're constantly looking to showcase our footage in new and creative ways so as to keep things interesting for you, dear viewers. So the collective wisdom of our esteemed production team has developed gems such as Yorkshire parking news, Strictly car crashing, and perhaps our crowning glory, the quality piece of content that was, according to Neil, listed as number 94 in the Sunday Times Top 100 TV Moments of the year 2017. You know the one. Can I get a yee-haw, folks? This is Off Road Rodeo.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to the 118th Annual Off Road Rodeo in association with Colt Konchesky's Corn Dogs, the only corn dogs guaranteed to be made with 92% prime roadkill. And here comes our first competitor now. It's lapsed Amish priest Jeremiah Cleethorpe. Having recently left the compound, Jeremiah has been exposing himself to the wonders of modern technology. As such, his driving's a little erratic due to the lack of a license and the fact he's just discovered internet pornography on his smart device. Men cannot multitask, and Jeremiah has learnt that the hard way. But a score of 22 seconds is an impressive marker for the newcomer. Fresh from his prison break, we're on board with Ike Taylor. He only broke out 6 seconds ago, and his run is already over for exactly the same time. Dang, Ike, you didn't even manage to get away from the wall. Next time, get clear before you start. And here come the prison officers to take him back to the warm embrace of Big Bob. See you again in 8 to 10, Ike. On board now with budding illegal immigrant Jose Caballero, who's trying to shake a heavy-handed member of POTUS's crack new border force as he makes a run for the wall. It's a good time so far, but that officer will not want him to cross into Arizona. Dirty tactics and poor Jose's chances of the trophy and being reunited with his extended family. Land of the free, my butt. In the distance, you should be able to make out the favorite Ryder Cross. The poster boy for Off-Road Rodeo, Ryder now competes in a van that holds all 52 of his championship trophies. But that extra weight means his vehicle is unpredictable, and the vain idiot is into the crash barrier for a disappointing 13 seconds. Our final competitor today is Susie Sarsaparilla, hailing from the great city of Savannah. When she's not riding rodeo, Susie divides her time between shouting at tourists, crocheting crack pipes, and trying to lasso the moon. And they say Southerners are dumb. Susie might not be the sharpest tool, but she is the sharpest driver. Sadly, she's mistaken that truck for a giant bear, so has brought her run to a halt and assumed the fetal position. Once she comes to her senses, she'll be delighted to know her score of 25 seconds is the winning run. Who'd have thunk it? A year's supply of Colt Konchesky's corn dogs are coming your way, little lady, along with a year of indigestion. You've earned it. Thanks for tuning in, folks, and we'll see you again for more Off Road Rodeo. Yee-haw!
Coming up later on Car Crash TV, we appraise some truly rubbish reversing. Hide behind the couch and scream, "Watch out! There are humans about!" And try to keep hold of all our vital bits and pieces in Appetite for Deconstruction. But first, lovely clear day, exceptional piece of well-laid tarmac, conditions really are optimum, so pray tell, what happens next? It's quackers! Welcome back to Car Crash TV. So what did happen next? Well, as you know, on this program we show you a lot of smash-ups, and it can become a little bit relentless. So, in an attempt to lighten proceedings, let's warm the cockles of your heart. Isn't that just adorable? And no ducks or people were harmed in the making of this clip, though it has given me a hankering for something crispy accompanied by hoisin sauce. Get the Golden Dragon on the phone. There are many hazards to be mindful of when behind the wheel of a car. Black ice, tornadoes, runaway trucks, larders, the usual. But there is one lesser-known threat that preys on your average motorist and proves to be perhaps the biggest menace to road users. You'd think, when encased in metal, that these individuals wouldn't give you cause for concern. But I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. Heed my warnings, and watch out, there are humans about.
Those taxi apps are great, aren't they? Just one tap of your phone screen and a luxury chariot can be winging its way to you in a matter of minutes. But as technology develops, those minutes are starting to become seconds. So potential customers need to have their wits about them. Come on, mate! At least give her a chance to open the door. Or do it for her. Very courteous. Now that's what I call service. What is it with kids and balloons? Give them that bulbous piece of rubber and they become automatically obsessed until it inevitably pops and the inconsolable waterworks follow. You might think this woman is a fool, dicing with death in order to retrieve that blue balloon from the traffic, but if you've got kids, you'll know that a near-death experience is an acceptable trade-off for 30 minutes of blissful silence. Then it pops and your life becomes a living hell once more. Oh my God! Is that a naked dead man in the road? Somebody call the police! Wait, no, it's just the local streaker having a little rest. Though I'd be more careful about where you rest your bare buns, my friend. In this sort of weather, exposing them to cold tarmac might well lead to a nasty case of hemorrhoids. Yes, just as I thought, off he sprints to the local chemist for some ointment to help achieve rectal relief. I did try to warn you. And now for your viewing pleasure, it's the most terrifying near miss of the week. Don't worry. Even after that little jig you did at the end, you still got your shoes on. Not sure white trousers were the right decision today, though. Throughout the long and lonely years I've spent working on this show, the one thing I've noticed more than anything is that zebra crossings mean nothing to the drivers we feature. So it's nice to finally see a member of the public fight back. Yes, it's not an extreme protest granted, but I think you've made your point, my friend, and you didn't have to set yourself on fire, so bonus! Now, though, the inevitable standoff occurs over the bonnet of an aging larder. This is tense stuff. Who will blink first? Alas, we will never know, as the driver of the car we're on board clearly isn't interested in closure. Damn you! I won't sleep tonight. And finally, as this segment draws to a close, it dawns on me we haven't offered any genuine health and safety advice in this segment. So ponder this. Is it worth looking like a prat in a high-vis jacket if it makes you more visible at night? I think this fashionista has just answered that question for us. Batman had Robin, Holmes had Watson, Morse had Lewis. Me? I have Neil. He came in 7 years ago on work experience and never ever left. He's generally useless, always gets my lunch order wrong, never buys the good coffee, has a fairly severe body odor problem, and I'm pretty sure for the last 3 months he's been sleeping here at night. He can barely function as a personal assistant, so is absolutely no use whatsoever as a crime-fighting sidekick. Therefore, I need your assistance, dear viewers, to help me solve another crash scene investigation. And Neil, for pity's sake, introduce your armpits to a can of antiperspirant. Okay, well, I don't think there's much here that needs to be solved, really. We have not one, not two, but 3 larders at the scene. So clearly, they've all played a part in this sorry affair. But if I don't do my job, I don't get paid. And as I'm running low on tobacco and blue balls, we best step to it. Pray tell, who are our suspects? As if I need to ask. Car A, the beige larder. Car B, the police larder, who, let's be honest, should be solving this himself, but he is driving a larder, so maybe not the smartest Bobby on the beat. Or Car C, the black saloon. Wait, not the blue larder? Are you sure, Neil? Your performance development review is looming, so you don't want to get this wrong. Okay, but on your head be it. Let's solve this one. Wait, what's going on? Both of the larders seem to be stopping in order to let the police larder exit the junction. Well, this is all very lawful and above board. Have we entered the Twilight Zone? Neil, have you spiked my coffee with hallucinogenics again? Yes, I must be seeing things because here comes Car C, the black saloon, to reveal himself as the guilty party. Well, Neil, I think it's safe to say once more your PDR will be on the negative side. I'm off to splash some cold water on my face, but I'll be back soon to crack another crash scene investigation. Every once in a while on this show, a clip comes along that is just perfect. It requires no incessant voiceover from me, no biting wit, no social commentary. All it needs is a rousing piece of classical music and your undivided attention for the next 75 seconds. Enjoy!
Who's hungry? Because I'm starving. Neil, my rider is very specific. Custard creams, bovril, pork scratchings, and port. How the hell am I supposed to cultivate my extreme case of gout if you don't furnish me with these delights? You know who else is hungry? The drivers in this next set of clips. And there's only one thing that will fit that gaping hole in their stomach. Yes, they all have an appetite for deconstruction.
Evening, rock fans, and welcome to the suburbs. Not very heavy metal, is it? Where's the guitars? Where's the groupies? Where's the noise? Aye, there it is, as those two cars scrape against each other. Music to me ears. But to make these sweet sounds, the car in front is going to lose one of its extremities. Will it be its wing mirror, its hubcap, or its front bumper? It's the wing mirror, shattered into several pieces and all over the asphalt. Whoa, deja vu, that's given me a flashback to a bad trip I had in 78. Speaking of 78, I wonder what happened to our old bass player, Mad Dog. I haven't seen him since June of that year when he climbed out of an 8th floor hotel window in search of red M&Ms. Could be him in that black car, because that manoeuvre is as stupid as MD's big exit. So, will the terrible turn see the black car lose its number plate, a wheel, or his front bumper? Yes, it's the bumper. And of course it's not Mad Dog driving, as he's most definitely dead. And from falling to your death to stopping dead at a traffic light. Well done, mate, for not falling foul of the law. A shame the same cannot be said for the guy in the black van behind, or for me, when I accidentally married Tina, Jane and Sharon all in the same year. But I don't really remember anything about 1984. Anyway, will the bump from the black van see our good boy lose a number plate, a brake light, or a bumper? And the brake light is history, and thankfully so is my 2-year stretch in Wormwood Scrubs. And to end with, the gap between that lorry and those bollards looks like a tight fit. Much like the leather trousers I had to shoehorn my ample buns into this morning. 40 years of rock and roll takes its toll. Will this merging of metal see the car we're on board lose a hubcap, a wing mirror, or a wheel? And it's the wing mirror. Rock on! Right, I need to peel myself out of these trousers before I get deep vein thrombosis. But I'll be back soon for some more headbanging in Appetite for Deconstruction!
One of the byproducts of this show is getting to really marvel at the idiocy of some people as they attempt to take their vehicle on a forward trajectory along the roads around the world. So what might happen if, rather than moving forwards, the bright sparks that feature in our clips decided to go backwards? Would their driving be any better? I'll give you a hint. The clue's in the title, as this is Rubbish Reversing. Lesson number 1. There's a time and a place in which to perform a reversing maneuver. Maybe in order to guide your vehicle into a supermarket shopping space. Or perhaps if you've accidentally blocked an exit to a junction and there is ample room behind you to allow you to rectify your error. If you go online, you can find many other suitable scenarios. So I can only assume the guy in front is Amish, without access to something as revolutionary as the internet. Because trust me, reversing on a motorway into another vehicle when you've missed the exit doesn't even crack the top 20. And shave that beard too, you look ridiculous. Lesson 2. Your car has come equipped with wing mirrors for a reason, to allow you to check behind you for other vehicles before reversing. So for pity's sake, do use them. And remember, if you choose not to use them and have an accident as a result, protocol states that you should first check thoroughly for any damage to your vehicle. Then perhaps think about apologizing. But then actually just wave your arms around to suggest that the aforementioned collision might be the other driver's fault. I can tell this isn't your first rodeo, sir. Lesson 3. If 2 is too complex for you, then please, for the safety of everyone and everything on the road, invest in a car with rear parking sensors. Thankfully this time, it was just a bollard. Next time, it could be Auntie Jean. Think on. Lesson 4. When 2 vehicles are reversing out of adjacent parking spaces, there is no clear right of way. Therefore, you must consider the vehicle being used by the other driver. Our friend on the left here should have known to give way, as his fellow motorist is maneuvering an Audi. So what were the chances of him thinking the road didn't belong to him? Absolutely zero. Lesson 5. And it's a simple one. Before reversing, maybe look over your shoulder. Obvious, but worth stating, I think. And finally, lesson 6. The high-pitched and slightly obnoxious beeping noise you can hear is to indicate that the driver of that big beast has just popped it in reverse. So you might want to get out of the way. Here endeth the lesson. Go with God.